Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava Metzia, page 50b, top of the page with the words Ul Rabbi Tarfon. And according to Rabbi Tarfon too, there is a waiver of the disparity of less than 1/3, and the transaction is finalized immediately. Why did they revert to following the statement of the rabbis? In that case, the ruling of Rabbi Tarfon would be preferable for them, as that which the rabbis deem exploitation, meaning a discrepancy of 1/6, is waived according to Rabbi Tarfon. The Gemara rejects this proof. Do you maintain that the legal status of a disparity of less than 1/3, according to the opinion of Rabbi Tarfon, is like the legal status of a disparity of less than 1/6, according to the opinion of the rabbis? No. The legal status of a disparity ranging from 1/6 until 1/3, according to the opinion of Rabbi Tarfon, is like the legal status of a disparity of 1/6 itself, according to the opinion of the rabbis, and the exploited party receives the sum of the exploitation in return. The Gemara asks, if so, for what reason did the merchants of Lod rejoice initially? They gained nothing relative to the ruling of the rabbis. Resolve, based on this difficulty, the dilemma raised below, and conclude that in cases of nullification of the transaction according to the rabbis, one may always renege on the transaction. Therefore, the reaction of the merchants of Lod is understandable, as, since Rabbi Tarfon said to them that a disparity between 1/6 and 1/3 is merely exploitation, they rejoiced, as this would mean that the buyer has only the time it takes to show a merchandise to a merchant or relative to renege. When he said to them that the exploited person can renege on the transaction for the entire day, they reverted to following the statement of the rabbis. At first they were happy because they could make more profit, but then when someone can renege on transaction all day, but just which one is more? If they're making tons of profit, who cares if once in a while most people don't renege? So why is it? Anyway, the Gemara explains why this dilemma is resolved. As if it enters your mind to say that nullification of the transaction according to the rabbis is limited to only within the time that it takes for the buyer to show the merchandise to a merchant or to his relative, for what reason did they rejoice over the ruling of Rabbi Tarfon? His ruling did not enable them to sell the merchandise at a higher price than the ruling of the rabbis did. The Gemara rejects this proof. They initially rejoiced over the case of disparity of 1/6 itself, as according to Rabbi Tarfon, there is a waiver of the disparity, and according to the rabbis, it is exploitation. The Gemara cites the dilemma referenced above. A dilemma was raised before the sages with regard to nullification of the transaction according to the rabbis. May one always renege on the transaction, or perhaps he can renege only within the time that it takes him to show the merchandise to a merchant or to his relative? And if you say that the transaction is nullified only within the time that it takes him to show the merchandise to a merchant or to his relative, what difference is there between a disparity of 1/6 and a disparity of greater than 1/6? The Gemara answers there is a difference, as in the case of a disparity of 1/6, only the one who was exploited can renege on the transaction, while in the case where the disparity is greater than 1/6, both can renege on the transaction. The Gemara returns to discuss the dilemma. What is the halacha? The Gemara suggests come and hear a resolution. How's it going? Continue with part B.